Tired of bad hires? One bad hire can cost you big time in dollars and time. Keep watching to learn how to hire better. My 5 best approaches to hiring the right people right now. Oh my gosh, I have made so many bad hiring decisions over the years. And so know that I'm sharing this from experience and a place of not wanting you to have to make these mistakes. Before you get to hiring, you want to write a job description that is aligned with your company's values. So often it's easy to go to Indeed or it's easy to go to a different website and just, model someone else's job description because it's similar to yours. But here's the problem with that. On paper, it might seem similar, but if you don't align that job description with your company's values, I guarantee you're going to be missing some key things in terms of attracting the right people to your company. If you don't know what the values are of your company, this is probably a place to begin. And I get it, like if you're a newer company or it's just something you haven't done, take the time to write down your top 5 to 10 values so you know that when you write the job description or you go back to edit it, that those values are included. So for example, if one of your values is to have fun and your job description is super lame and boring and not fun, then you're not going to be attracting the right person. So that's what I'm talking about when I say values. Maybe you value a lot of flexibility and freedom, and you want the job description to reflect that. So whoever is coming on board knows that they have that level of flexibility. That's a big selling point. But if it's not in your job description, I'm not going to know about it. Second, make sure you write the role description for this position before you post the job. And this role description needs to be clear, complete, and also aligned with your values. It should mirror your job description. And you want to have it done ahead of time to make sure that after you've written the role description, you go back and you look at the job description and they actually really match up. We throw up a job description and we hope and pray that the right people show up, but we haven't done the role description. So then the person starts, but they're never really clear what they were supposed to be doing, and they kind of just spin out of the job. I was talking to a friend recently and she's been in the same role for a long time. They brought new managers in over and over again. And every time they do, her role description, it's not the original job that she signed up for. So for her, it feels very much out of alignment. And I'm sure as soon as she can figure out where to go next, she'll be gone. So that's why it's so important to make sure that that role description is in alignment with your company, with your values, and with the job description. So once you've done those 2 things, you've got the role description ready to go, ready to hand to the person that you're going to hire. You've got the job description out on a job board or multiple job boards. You're sharing it on social media, and the resumes are starting to come in. It's exciting. You're going through the resumes, you're finding the top 2 or 3 people that you want to interview, you're setting up the interviews, and there you are. You're sitting in front of a candidate. You've made it this far. In that moment, when you're finally sitting in front of a candidate, I want you to remember that it is not your job to sell them. In fact, I want you to be prepared with strong, open-ended questions that'll help you figure out whether or not they're a good fit for you. What I don't want you to do is feel like you have to talk the whole time or that you have to be selling them on why your company is a great place to work. Clearly they're there, and if they have questions at the end of the interview, that's great. The first part of the interview is you asking questions, open-ended questions, right? Questions that they can't say yes or no to. And by asking open-ended questions, you'll be able to discern who this person is and if it's a good fit for them. Personally, I don't love the interview process. I think it feels unnatural and awkward. And so the more relaxed that you can be, the more natural that you can be when you're asking open-ended questions, the easier it'll be for the candidate to relax as well. One of my favorite interview experiences was when I was hiring a salesperson. And this salesperson came in, he looked like his resume was a fit, but I wasn't clear about values alignment. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a fit for the company. And so we sat down and I started to ask him questions. Immediately I was impressed with his professionalism, how prepared he was to talk to me. But more than that, I could tell pretty quickly that he was trying to sell me on his values alignment. And it was a great fit because his values were very much in alignment with the company. Just the fact that he was aware of that and the way he was answering the questions told me that he really did care. He wanted this to be a match. He was very hungry for the position, and he'd done his homework. He knew what it was going to take to be successful in this sales position. And one of the open-ended questions I asked him was, what would you do in your first 90 days here? Now, sometimes that question really scares people. And I get it because they haven't worked on the job and maybe they're not sure. But when you ask that question, you're going to learn very quickly what their true skill set is and what their experience is. And in sales, I'm looking for both, right? If I'm hiring a salesperson, I'm looking for both skills and experience. And he was able to share, he shared with me that he didn't have a lot of outside sales experience, but he had a ton of transferable skills. But again, underneath that, it was such a clear values alignment. And I knew immediately that he would get along with the team. I knew he would be very impressive in front of the clients. I knew that he was super motivated. I just knew that he was going to fit the position. Interviews don't always go like that. I hired him on the spot and he became one of the top sales reps I've ever worked with. Definitely a sales rep who made more money than any other sales rep I've worked with since then. He made more money than I did when I was president of that company. So you can imagine how much money he was making. And even though he was making that much money, it didn't change who he was. And this goes back to the values alignment. Like, he was still the same person. He was buying his first house. He was living a great life. He was giving back to other organizations. He was still living the values of the company. And to this day, I still have so much respect for who he is and what he's done in the world. If you want to recognize that how someone treats you or follows up is exactly how they will be with others and with clients. In the example I just shared with you, I knew that he was going to treat others well. He was so respectful to me, and I'd also watched as he came in and introduced himself. He didn't just say hello, he introduced himself to every person he met along the way. And I thought, wow, this is how he would be with our clients. And then when the interview was over, super respectful on the same way. He was very thankful, very grateful. He said goodbye to everyone he'd met as he was walking out. And that very same day, I received an email from him. And he was thanking me for the opportunity to interview. He reiterated why he thought he was a great fit for the company. He was super professional. And in that moment, what I thought was, this is exactly how he would follow up with our clients. I knew he was a great fit. I knew I'd made the right decision by making him an offer that day. Because you're still hanging out with me, I want to share a pro tip with you. Once you've made the hire, create a 90-day trial period so that it's fair to both you and the person you're hiring, and so that you both have an out if in those 90 days it doesn't work out. Often, they'll create that 90-day plan with you. Today, we talked about how hard it can be to hire and how difficult it can be when you make bad hires. I shared my 5 best approaches to hiring the right people. Again, I shared the importance of writing a job description that is aligned with your company's values. We talked about the importance of writing a role description before you post the job. It needs to be clear, complete, and aligned. Remember that it's their job to sell you. You're not selling them. So be prepared with open-ended questions so that you can understand whether or not this position is a fit for them. Remember to have multiple open-ended questions prepared that will really help you discern who this person is. And finally, recognize that how this person treats you, how they follow up with you, how they treat other people in the company is exactly how they're going to treat others as well as your clients. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And if you enjoyed this video, stick with me because up next, we're going to talk about what is not most important when it comes to hiring. And remember, your 2X is waiting for you too.